Hello and welcome to my year-end video for 2025. One more important tip before we start the video. I will now release the video here as a live premiere. That means the video will be shown live here now. That means you can watch it together with me, you can write comments, and I can also respond to them if necessary. After the live premiere is over, the video will appear regularly on my channel and you can write regular comments there. Very important also to mention at the beginning for the chat, I will program an automation here and will give away 10 simple channel memberships from M1Molter today in this live premiere. And everyone who is participating here in this live premiere will automatically be entered into a raffle. And the algorithm will automatically give away 10 of my simple channel memberships to you, just so you know how it works in advance. Important, I will also have something to give away at the end of the video. Here you need to watch the video in the regular normal YouTube mode, and then you can participate in this giveaway by commenting or using the comment section. Please do not participate in the giveaway through the chat. First of all, of course, a heartfelt thank you for tuning in. For all my viewers who have once again watched, liked, commented on, and given me a lot of feedback on many of my videos this year, partly through email and also through chats and similar channels. Once again, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to my viewers. It was another wonderful year that I was able to spend together with you. Before we begin the video, there are some new updates. I already mentioned this to you, for example, in my Mark's Flea Market Box video. That's also one of the new things on my second channel. You probably still remember my Mark's Flea Market, which exists just like my second channel does. And here at regular intervals, I always gave away things that I had left over, for example, from my main channel or somewhere at home, and they're just too good to throw away. This format right up front, I had already mentioned it, I had doubts about it and was thinking about possibly discontinuing it. Here's good news. The format won't be discontinued and has been completely revamped. It's now the Mark's Flea Market Box. This will take place monthly again on my second channel. The link is of course down in the video description, or check out my second channel. There's also currently a Christmas special giveaway going on in the 4th round. You can grab something really nice there as well. So maybe check out that video after watching this one. You'll have another chance to win something there. What's important to report today, I have a lot of pages I want to go through with you. I've written down some bullet points here, a lot of stuff. I don't know if I'll be able to cover all of this in the video, so get ready for a very long video. But let's just start right from the beginning. Of course, what's important for us or important for you, some of you may have already noticed, I've now introduced channel memberships here as well. I went back and forth on this for a long time, wondering whether I should do it at all or just leave it alone. Because I also see with many other channels that have these memberships, overall it's a difficult topic because nobody likes subscribing and paying monthly for anything. We live in a cheap is cool society here. Everything has to be free. That's just the German mentality. Nevertheless, I just went ahead and introduced it because some of my viewers kept asking for it. They said, why don't you offer a membership and give some benefits to your members especially? Maybe also special live streams that are only for members, or of course questions that will be answered with priority for members. That's actually the point I like the most. I get an incredible number of questions, as you can see in many of my videos or under many of my videos, even very old ones. It's still simply impossible to answer this flood of questions. And many of the questions are so advanced and specific that I just can't answer them. I can summarize this here. I'll also add a membership here with the channel memberships, and of course I'll give priority to questions from these channel members and be able to answer them. Important, I have to be able to answer them, of course. If you ask, for example, how is the architectural planning of my house done? Can you design a small floor plan for me? I won't answer that though. I will try to answer general questions about YouTube, my channel, and some projects to the best of my knowledge and ability. And of course now primarily for the channel members. That doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to the other comments at all. I also scroll through those from time to time, and as I have done so far, will occasionally respond there as well. That will continue to be the case. What kinds of channel memberships are there, or what does it look like for me? Let's just take a quick look at my screen. It's very simple to find my channel memberships. You go to my YouTube channel, just search for M1Molter on YouTube and open the channel. Here you'll find the option, Become a Channel Member. Just click here and you'll see the channel memberships. I've set it up as follows. First, we have the M1Molter. This is the smallest form of support you can give me for €2.99 a month. Of course, it's important. Such subscribers can also cancel monthly directly through YouTube or Google. I've explained exactly how that works in a video on my other channel, M1Molter video. I'll just link that for you up here under the eye. That way there won't be any misunderstandings and you'll know how to cancel cleanly so there won't be any unnecessary questions. What does the mechanic get from me, if I may call it that? It's simple. Of course, you get these nice logos for loyal fans, which I created over the past few weeks. You get these logos. The longer you're a member with me, the more you get these level up logos. We start here with the screw, then move on to the screwdriver, and then to the hammer, and so on and so forth. But you probably know that from other channel memberships as well. Nevertheless, I've also designed a few nice emojis for you. Currently, at the beginning stage, I can only add 4 of them. And here you can see these emojis. You can also use these here as a simple M1Molter, and very important, the M1Molter screwdriver, of course, also has the opportunity to participate in internal surveys. I've also started to enjoy this a bit, and from time to time I'll throw a little survey out here. Of course, these are only important for members. I'd also like to mention again that this form of support is support for the YouTuber. It's also important to note that the Allo 2.99 per month is divided. Unfortunately, I don't get all of that. I have to share it with YouTube and of course with my taxes as well. I want to be a bit transparent about that. Very important, if you just go ahead and get such a subscription with me. For example, if you do it via an Android smartphone, a PC, or a regular browser, it works like this. I'll just show it to you here. For example, through PC and Android, I get 70% of the revenue credited directly from Google and 30% goes to Google. Or in this case, it's YouTube Google. YouTube keeps this share. Important, I have to pay full taxes on the 70%, so I actually keep about 50%. I want to add one more important point for you. You know, I'm not a particularly big Apple fan. One of the reasons is the one I'm about to tell you here. Let's go down one more column. Apple iOS users will have a special case here. Viewers pay about 130%, which means Apple takes another 30% from you here. That means in the end, with a donation like this, you're not really paying me, but mostly Apple first. It breaks down as follows. I still keep 70%, 30% goes to YouTube, and an additional 30% surcharge goes to Apple. That's why I have an important request. If possible, avoid getting these subscriptions on Apple devices. I feel Apple and its ecosystem are designed to rip people off. This also applies to in-app purchases. If you subscribe to apps, I recommend doing it on an Android device or in the browser before making purchases. Because Apple automatically takes a 30% cut or adds it on top, that's why products are, of course, much more expensive with Apple. That's just a side note. Let's move on to the second level, M, one of the creators. I just thought of that. Let's click on it. Of course, you get all the benefits you would have as a tinkerer, and there's even more on top of that. Videos only for members. I can then create these videos specifically just for my members. Here I can specifically answer your questions or create short videos directly for my viewers that are really just for you, or accordingly give you early access to these videos. Very important. From this level on, you also get priority responses to comments. I thought that around €7 is a fair amount here. That way I can give you some priority and specifically answer your comments first before anyone else. Of course, that also helps me to filter things accordingly. This way I avoid sifting through thousands of pointless comments. That way I know I can focus on those comments first, answer them specifically, and I've also helped the people who support me. Because usually I see it this way. I get endless questions from you and I try to answer as many of them as possible. When I've answered them, there are 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, I never hear from the person who asked the question again. Then I can be sure that what I answered definitely worked and really helped the man, the woman, or whoever it was. Most of the time, I don't even get a thank you and the person just keeps asking more questions, repeating, and this and this and this. And then you can spend hours dealing with this person and still not get any results. And of course, all of that is in vain. Those are endless hours that I end up losing. And then I can't make any more videos for you or start other projects for you. Just because I'm dealing with a viewer whom I don't even know and who will probably never visit my channel again, that's why I think this way is fairer. Then, as I said, early access to new videos is one of the benefits for the M1Molter. Then I have a special tier here, that's the M1, which would be a real support tier. That means I just chose a lower amount there. On YouTube, you can only select specific preset amounts. They can get very high, but here I chose the $24.99, which is about 25 euros. And I'll tell you straight up why. Because that's the first amount from which I actually get something in my account. As you saw, a lot of fees are deducted here. I still need to write invoices and send them to the tax office. It's a lot of paperwork to basically accept these donations, and most of the time it eats up the amounts, starting from around 25 euros. In the end, maybe 10 euros actually end up with me, and that's something I can really use. That's why this is the M1 builder who also gets most of the benefits. I could have added more here too. Some viewers mentioned that. If I really want to support you, I could just donate a big amount like 150 euros. Personally, I wouldn't pay that to any YouTuber either, so I set it as the upper limit because it seemed too high. If someone has a different opinion, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I could add a fourth or fifth tier and set a higher amount, but I don't think that makes sense. As I said, you can also leave detailed comments about what you think in the comments section. The advantages of the M1Molter builder, you can see them here at a glance. That means here you can have live streams just for these members, meaning these are live streams that are really only for these members, and of course mentions of members. That's one point. I tried that a few years ago, but I didn't really know how to handle it. Then the general data protection regulation came along and things just kept getting worse. I'll just say, I've added this point here on purpose. What's happening? If you pay me this amount monthly, you will definitely be linked in the end card of the videos where it's possible for me, or sometimes not linked. That was poorly phrased. You will be mentioned there in writing with your channel name and a small thank you note to you, so that the current donors are always listed there. The only exception, there are some videos that I create for partners, and in those cases, the partners do not want such mentions in the video. Those are excluded, but most videos will get this mention. And if I ever do a few live streams or a small community video, I can also display and mention them at the beginning. Very important, if you accept it here, you have agreed to it. That means the mention will happen automatically. If you don't want that, just contact me personally. Say, Mark, I'm giving you this channel membership, but please don't mention me. I want to donate anonymously. We also have this case sometimes, and of course I have nothing against it. Nevertheless, besides these channel memberships, I have thought of something else. As nice as the channel memberships are on YouTube, unfortunately, they are set up in such a way that not much is left for the creator. You already saw that earlier in the structure. That's why I have always provided two other donation options. One of them is super thanks. To be honest, super thanks are hardly used on YouTube in Germany. Over the course of a year, I get about 10 to 20 donations through super thanks, and those are usually small donations. I usually get 1 or 2 euros, with 10 euros being the most I've received. Plus, YouTube takes a large cut. Super thanks are of course a nice option. You can just press the button under the video, and if you have a payment method set up, you can directly support the YouTuber. It's like buying a digital coffee, just sending 1 or 2 euros as a small thank you, like for fixing the printer or helping me out. Here's 1 or 2 euros, get a coffee at a gas station later. But coffees there are so expensive now, you can't even buy one for that amount. Still, that's possible. I'll show an example. I just got another super thanks donation recently. Important, I could also mention super thanks donors here. That means if someone donates more than 24 euros 99 to me through a super thanks, I'm of course also willing to mention that person at least once in my video. There will be a one-time mention, but I need to ask you something first since you haven't agreed yet. Just write in the comments, hello Mark, here's a small donation from me, let's say 25 euros. I agree to you publishing my name in the donor list or mentioning my name. If you'd like me to mention your real name instead of your channel name, just write it in the comments below, and then I will include you in the donor list in a video as well. Now let's move on to option 3. I've always had option 3 running, and it's used from time to time. However, I have to honestly say it's never been used as little as this year. This year it hasn't even been used 5 times. That's donating via PayPal. For that, you just go to my homepage. where the donations are listed directly, or you have a direct donation button. You click on it there and can send me a donation either monthly or as a one-time payment. Here too, I stick to the following. If you donate more than 25 euros and have, in the text, I added a field below. I want to be mentioned by name or something similar. Just note that, and I can mention you in the next video too. I'd like to give a special thank you again to these donors. I introduced this years ago, then stopped it because there were so few donations, but I want to bring it back. People keep asking me, Mark, what's going on? You have such great fan items. Where did I put them? Like these stickers here, eyelid rulers, buttons, little boxes, right? I've made so many things here as fan items, which I usually throw into the packages, but some of you want to have these fan items directly. I've been asked several times, why don't you open a shop? Opening a shop is not an option for me. The conditions for running one in Germany are a disaster. That's why I do it like this. If someone donates more than 25 euros and very importantly includes their address with the donation, this is really important. Otherwise, I can't send it to you. I'm going to introduce 3 levels here. Level 1 starts at 25 euros. You will be mentioned by name if you want, and you will receive a small gift. That means a small envelope with a few stickers from me and a personal letter as a thank you in return. My second tier is for donations of 50 euros or more from me. I'll call it a small fan package, which already has some nice things I'll send you. It will be a nice box with many small fan items from me, including a personal letter. And then I have the highest tier. Here I set it at 150 euros if someone gives me more than 150 euros. Important. Of course, you will also, even if you give me 50 euros or anything over 25. Will you be mentioned here, or do you have the opportunity to be mentioned in my videos? But anyone who sends me more than 150 euros in donations and importantly includes their address will receive a big fan package from me, including a home and hobby tool, so that you also get a proper value in return. I will sign everything here, and I will also send you proper fan merchandise so that you get something out of it. That would be the structure. And of course, if someone donates a bit more, I'm always grateful for that. But those would be the 3 structures. And that probably makes sense because donations on YouTube are usually never higher than that anyway. Most of the time they're in the single-digit range, so that's how you know the donation structure. I've introduced it now. I resisted it for years. Some viewers seem to want it, and on the other hand, it seems that's just how things work on YouTube. So I'm introducing it now as well. You can also give me your opinion in the comments. Does it make sense to introduce something like this or not? I'll put it this way. It was a lot of work to set all of this up. We'll just give it a try, and maybe next year we can expand it a bit more and add even more benefits here. If you have any more ideas, write them in the comments. So let's move on to the next point. I'm also going to answer 1 or 2 more comments here. I actually planned exactly this format last year as well. If I get a lot of meaningful comments from you, especially from channel members, I can always make a special video where I specifically respond to those comments or introduce a format like that. Mark comments on comments, and here, if you want that, write it down below in the comments. I'm happy to do it, and the YouTube comments are very important. If those are provided, I will display them completely, including the name of the YouTuber. If the YouTuber wants to stop being mentioned, let me know and I'll blur the name. In this case, I just want to give you an example. I received this last comment here, and it's from Fish2Eins. Hello Mark, as always a great video. I'm glad to hear that your internet is working again. That was also a point. I had on November 12th, 2025, a major internet outage happened here because an excavator cut a fiber optic cable. I'm with Telecom specifically to avoid these issues since they usually resolve problems quickly. Until I then unfortunately had to realize with shock that even though I'm with Telecom, the fiber optic network here is actually with Glasfaser Plus somehow as well. Telecom is a separate company, and right now they seem to have major employee issues. Subcontractors are likely going bankrupt or leaving quickly. And that's where the problem was. There was no one left who wanted to repair this internet line. Now we've been going back and forth for almost 4 weeks, and I've made some videos about it too. And then under massive pressure, also from the community and other places, it worked out. I don't want to name every single person involved. This led to Telecom finally giving in and saying, okay, we'll bypass the fiber optic and repair it ourselves. And that's how I'm back online at the beginning of December. Nevertheless, I've now gotten myself a backup line as well. It's not that easy anymore to find something decent in my region. You gave me a lot of suggestions. Just take, well, I don't know. What do I have here? I've taken a closer look at this Elon Nest thing or other satellite options. It sounds pretty good. Some of my viewers swear by it. I've also seen it live a few times, and I have to say that stuff is a complete disaster. It's fine for streaming, it's fine for regular home office stuff, but for me as a YouTuber especially, I need high upload speeds, over 100 Mbps, and I have 500 Mbps here, but it's completely unusable and a disaster. You can just take it like that. It also costs almost 50 euros, and then the thing isn't even reliable. Even this Elon Nest thing, this Starlink thing, has already failed a few times. It can also go down due to weather. It can be blocked by walls and so on and so forth. So all of that is too unstable for me, so I didn't go for it. Despite everything, I got myself a digital subscriber line again. Yes, that's right. I got another digital subscriber line. Not a second fiber optic line. What's the point? If the cable gets dug up again, that one's gone too. So I got myself a digital subscriber line. Unfortunately, Telecom no longer sells digital subscriber lines to people who already have fiber optic. There are likely internal contracts with Glasfaser Plus, so I chose Kongstar because of a Black Friday deal. Digital subscriber line was 40 euros for 250 Mbps, but it no longer reaches here. I used to get 250, 280 Mbps, but now it doesn't work. Now it's just barely 200 Mbps, and even that doesn't fully come through, but at least we have something, and I at least have an upload speed of around 45 Mbps. That means I can help myself in an emergency, and I'll just let it run on the side now, because that was a complete disaster. Let's get back to the comment. You can see again that standing your ground pays off. As I said, he's referring to the fact that my internet is working again now, and he has another question here. Could you make a video where you show the speed test of your connection? Keep it up. So at this point, a heartfelt thank you from me for your comment, and of course we can do a speed test here, but I have to say one thing about the speed test. When doing speed tests, it's important. A, which provider do you use? B, are you using your laptop on Wi-Fi or local area network? How far is your router? That's crucial for me since I have many switches in between. I've made some videos on how I set this up here. Make sure to run the speed test as close as possible to the main router. And then accordingly, also when there's not much going on the internet, for me, there's always something running on the internet. I can't completely turn it off, but we can take a look. I've now connected a 2500 gigabit or a 2.5 gigabit local area network port to the PC over here. And it's also directly connected to the fiber optic router. A lot is still happening behind the scenes, but we can see some results. Note, I can only get 1000 lines here, though 2500 are available. It's a shared medium gigabit passive optical network, so you can look it up on YouTube or other platforms to learn more. Let's run a speed test to check how much of the 1000 Mbps comes through. As I mentioned, there are various speed tests. I'll use NPerf here. I've also installed it on Windows, and it's one of my favorite speed tests. So we've opened it. Hopefully I'm connected to the right line now, but we'll see in a moment. Let's click on it. And you see, it's important. I should mention this. There are still applications running in the background. You see, I'm getting close to 1000 here without any problems, and that looks pretty good. 940, 950 Nbits in download, and clearly close to 500, sometimes even above in upload. But important, as I said, under full operation, under full load. You can see what comes through here. The ping is good, but it depends on the server you're connected to. We see the latency. Let's just take a look. It should actually be pretty good. Yeah, here it's 11, but as I said, I'm running it through a few splitters, so we're losing a bit there. We can also test this directly with Telecom. Speed test is important. Let's pick the Berlin server now, but that's actually farther away from me. Let's see, here we go. We're getting consistently good ping here, likely because something was turned off, freeing up more performance. We're getting well over 1000 Mbps in download here, and the upload is about to start as well. Yeah, that's clean too, at 500 plus. So, of course, I got a few small gifts again this year, very important. If you want to send me something, feel free to do so. Maybe I'll add a new category here. If someone gives me something useful, I could make an unboxing video. In my Christmas or year-end special, I want to do this again. Back in October, let me show it to the camera. I received these nice badges, these nice stickers, I'll just say. And here you can see the channel Koitek Wattenberg Media. That's the right channel or the right place for you. If you have any questions or need help with your YouTube channel, just check out the channel. Here you can also see Martin, that's the channel owner, and he can definitely help you out here. So go check out his channel and leave a like or a subscription. So at this point, a heartfelt thank you for these little badges. They will get a nice permanent spot here in my studio. So let's move on to the next topic. I made a video about the PayPal fraud case that I once fell for. That was quite a long time ago. I'll link the main video about it for you here under the eye. Now I'm being asked again, how did the story turn out? Exactly as predicted by me and by you, the case has been dropped. This is a case well under 500 euros, and I reported it to the police. We tried everything, pulled every string, but the prosecutor dropped the case due to insignificance. That means please be careful when you're using classified ads, whether you're buying or selling something. There are a lot of scams out there. You saw one of those scams in my video, so don't fall for it. And if you did fall for it, you can file a report. It also depends on the federal state if filing a report is worthwhile. In Thuringia, it didn't work out. The case was dropped. I got a letter and the scammer got away with it completely. I lost all the money and the item. Now let's move on to another topic. Of course, I also donate to various causes, to other YouTubers and so on. However, it's not my intention to make a big deal out of it. That means I usually do it on the side and don't brag about it or anything like that. But this year I was involved in a somewhat larger donation project. That means we got a bus here, a minibus for transportation, medical transports, or more like transporting elderly people and similar things here in the region. Specifically the German Red Cross, to be precise. The German Red Cross Kreisverband Meiningen eingetragener Verein acquired this bus, and it was mostly financed through donations. Here, companies or self-employed people like me could also contribute donations. I donated an amount of several thousand euros here. I won't specify the exact amount here, but it was quite high. It really hurt me, to put it mildly. And in return, you get an advertising space on the bus that lasts for 5 years. I can show you the bus. My ad space is visible in the corner. Important, I've hidden the other advertising partners for now because with other videos where I showed something similar, I kind of got into trouble. If someone doesn't want me to show them in the video, it can really backfire for me. So please understand that I've hidden them here. As you can see, my sticker is on it, which I didn't find all that great. I think it was 3 or 4 days ago that I received this nice certificate along with a letter inside. Let's just take it out now. I can show you, I'll read out the most important points for you. So dear ladies and gentlemen, we hope this message finds you well and so on and so forth. Your support was crucial to the success, and we would like to sincerely thank you for your valuable social contribution and commitment. On the 27th of November 2025, the vehicle was successfully delivered to the German Red Cross Kreisverband Meiningen e.V. And we are proud that the contribution has a lasting or sustainable impact on the community. What bothers me a little about this situation is that the person who negotiated this with me, unfortunately, or actually, promised me that I could be present at the handover. I also wanted to maybe shoot a short video or something, and I wanted to sit in the car or take a photo with my advertising banner here, but unfortunately that didn't happen. I'm a bit disappointed about that, but nonetheless, I wish the vehicle a safe journey at all times and hope that it can do some good, but that's just a side note. And here you can also see the certificate, so that's it for this donation, but that's just mentioned in passing. Then I received another gift, this one from the company DJI. We also worked together this year. I also made videos for the company DJI, also here on my channel. And here I received this beautiful Christmas gift, the DJI Mini 5 Pro. At this point, I would also like to give a heartfelt thank you to DJI for providing this awesome Christmas gift. This will be important for me in my video production so I can finally make some beautiful videos from the air again. Because my old drone is already quite outdated and has crashed several times, I really need an update here, and this is the corresponding upgrade. A heartfelt thank you for that. And I have to mention that because this is really a nice Christmas present for me. If you're interested in the drone, of course, there's a link to the product in the video description. Next, let's move on to another viewer question, specifically the most frequently asked viewer question of this year. This is a viewer question that many viewers keep asking. Mark, why don't you mention prices in your videos anymore? Many of you complain when I introduce products or show you things saying, just tell us a price. For example, for the power station, for, I don't know, the repeater or anything else. I've stopped doing that. Why did I stop? In earlier videos, I mentioned prices, sometimes added a socket and said this costs 20 or 5 euros. Then it continued like that. After 4 or 5 years, people kept watching the video and viewers complained a lot. Why would I mention the wrong price in the video or claim you can find this product for that amount? That's completely incorrect. We have inflation with rising prices, but electronics prices can also drop significantly at times. That's why I no longer mention any prices in videos and actually haven't for quite some time now, in case you're always wanting to know the prices. I always link products below the videos for up-to-date sources. If a link stops working, let me know in the comments and I'll update it. You'll find the current price there, so with a click or two you can see it. I don't always have to speak in the video since that's often inaccurate and can lead to harsh comments, even insults. For example, I once introduced a pre-switch for a motion detector, and back then it was extremely cheap compared to today. The price has now increased 4 or 5 times, which means it now costs 5 times as much. Back in 2013 or 2014, when I made the video, the price wasn't current and I was heavily insulted in the comments. Why would I mention such a low price in the video? It was realistic back then, but now it's not, which is why I no longer mention prices. Unless, for example, it's explicitly requested by the customer, but even they don't want that because they are also subject to these massive price fluctuations. Sometimes I have products that I present, and when I finish the video, I check the platform, and whoops, suddenly it's 20 euros cheaper, 30 euros more expensive, who knows. All right, let's get back to another gift which arrived just before this video. Here's a nice package. As we can see, be careful, glass do not throw. Unfortunately, this gift arrived with UPS again. Here's a little story. So I have a little ranking of which delivery services work especially well in a year and which ones work especially poorly. The best delivery service I have in this region is DHL. We should give them some praise too. Not a single package was lost here this year, and I didn't have any damaged packages either. The deliveries were always on time by and large. Except for 1 or 2 minor slip-ups, the employees were also very friendly. So in the ranking, DHL is at the top for me. So if you want to send me something, I strongly recommend DHL, then the package will actually arrive. This isn't meant to be advertising, it's just for my own benefit. We also use other shipping providers. I'll just mention the 2 worst ones this year, and also in recent years, the worst shipping service provider that delivers to me is and remains UPS, or UPS to be precise. Unfortunately, sometimes doesn't deliver at all. Either the packages disappear, arrive weeks or even months later, or are left somewhere they don't belong in completely different towns. Or what I see as a really serious problem, UPS doesn't seem to deliver themselves in our region anymore, but instead uses subcontractors to do it. And these people are a bit lazy. I live pretty much out in the sticks. As my father said, son, you live here in the bosom of nature, but be aware of one thing, this is the middle of nowhere. And that's exactly what it looks like. Then I get a package from UPS. The driver sees, oh, now I'm in Calden-Nottheim and now I have to go all the way to Oberweid. He still has to drive 10 or 15 kilometers each way. I really don't want to do that. And then you can see exactly that he just had a stop in Calden-Nottheim because he delivered something there. Nowadays, you have this more precise tracking, and 5 minutes later it says, yeah, the person couldn't be reached because they're not there, and now I have to leave it in Calden-Nottheim. They always drop it off at the gas station there. That means for me, well, I don't know how long that will last. It's about 12 to 15 kilometers each way, so I have to drive roughly 25 to 30 kilometers to pick up the package. And then it's usually in pretty bad shape here. It looks pretty good right now, but let's just take a look inside before I say anything wrong. All right, the package is from Vicon. I misplaced my little knife. Oh, found it. Let's take a quick look inside. All right, the second worst shipping service provider is, of course, Hermes. A lot of things don't work there either. What doesn't work at all with Hermes anymore is the pickup service. If you book and pay extra for a pickup here, the Hermes courier often won't show up to collect the package, so it's not worth relying on. The condition of the packages is also pretty bad because just anyone is driving for them and some of them just don't care. And here we have the same problem that some packages just aren't delivered because it says recipient not available. What does not available even mean? I've given all of them permission to leave the package. And very importantly, as you've seen in various videos, I've introduced camera systems and I've also installed one at the front door. It's clearly marked everywhere that the area is under video surveillance. And if I don't see anyone there, then no one was there. So here we have a nice package with a letter on top. I can quickly read it to you. Dear Mark, we wish you and your loved ones a wonderful Christmas and a relaxing, cozy time with your families. Yeah, I hope I can close up a bit this year too. I made a bad bet, but we'll see. The inventory isn't done yet. Nevertheless, we would like to sincerely thank you for the great cooperation this year. It means a lot to us to have you by our side. We're already looking forward to many more projects together. Your Wyken team, thank you very much. And here, let's take a look at what's inside the package. An extreme amount of padding material, packing material. And then, of course, the surprise comes right away. What I already told you, it came with UPS, which means everything is broken, unfortunately. That's just the problem I keep mentioning. We need to carefully remove the crumbs now. Packing material, something nice. I'll hold it up to the camera. Luckily, it arrived safely. Now we need to get rid of the crumbs here. So what else do we have in there? A nice flashlight, yeah. Socks, at least I assume so. Then here we have the green line, the worst tripper number 5. The package softened it a bit, but the tool is still fully intact. Nice stripping tool. I will definitely be able to use this very well in my projects. Then we have a powerful universal cleaner, multi-foam. You can always use that when you need to clean something. Here in the studio, that's also very useful for me. And then we also have a spray can with corro protection. That's a kind of protective film that you can apply to surfaces here, for example, metallic or similar, so they don't corrode. That's also nice to use outdoors, and I'm sure I can make good use of it. So that's the package insert. There are still many crumbs left from Santa Claus, who unfortunately diffused it, but here as well, a heartfelt thank you to the company Vicon for the lovely Christmas present. Then let's move on to the next point. That would also be a viewer question, which comes up quite often in different forms. But that also generally has to do with the changes on YouTube or in general with the changing times. Mark, why do you have such a big discrepancy between subscribers and view counts? That's a problem, and it's not just me. Many YouTubers have it, and you can compensate for this problem, but I don't do that. I can also explain to you why. It looks like this. I make a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. Lately, it's been a lot. PinV. I also see that this is gradually getting on your nerves. I'm stepping back from this topic to focus on other projects. My channel is a do-it-yourself channel covering many topics. I do everything from electrical, wood, metal, electronics, IT, pretty much everything on this channel, and it covers a very wide range. And for example, someone watches an electrical video, subscribes to my channel, and then I make a video, let's say about welding or something like that. They're not interested in that. And as a result, fewer people click on it, which of course the algorithm notices, and so the videos are suggested less at first. But I have an advantage. When the videos run for a longer time, they actually do pretty well. It usually takes about a quarter or half a year, and then my videos are very well received. You can see that in the total view counts of my channel, they are very, very high, even compared to other YouTubers, extremely high, to put it mildly. But now the question arises, why are the views on my newly released videos always so extremely low? Many other YouTubers have this problem too. And among YouTubers, a method has actually become established that most people use now, or at least many others do it. I actually don't do it. You upload a video and about, well, let's say about 10 hours after you've uploaded the video, or after 3 hours, and there are different approaches to this. You watch the video to see how it develops. If it turns out to be a bit of a flop, usually AdSense ads are bought for it, and the video is then boosted to 10, 20, or hundreds of thousands of views. That costs you on average, well, it's hard to say, 50 to 200 euros. Then you have the video at the numbers you want. And it looks very good to the community and my client. That's a common way it's handled on YouTube. How do you recognize such videos? That's very easy to explain. Those are videos that perform extremely well at the start. You sometimes have YouTube channels with 10 or 20,000 subscribers, and suddenly every video there has 10,000, 20,000, or 30,000 views. Usually something isn't right there. Somewhere a turbo is being triggered, either through AdSense ads or by posting on other platforms that generate a lot of clicks and drive up the views on the video. But if you look at the video statistics, of course you can't do that from the outside, but if you could, you would see that a lot of viewers are coming to the video. They watch the video for 1 or 2 seconds and then immediately leave. That's a small click boost, but in the long run, it completely ruins your video. That's why I strongly advise against this approach, and I usually don't do it myself. There is one exception. Some clients I've worked for have added a boost to the video afterward without informing me. To be honest, I don't find it funny when clients do that afterward. It would be nice if they coordinated with me, because usually they end up ruining their own video that I created for them. At the beginning, you create a huge buzz, but then I see it in the statistics. As I said, the video got a lot of clicks, but nobody stayed, and as a result, nothing happened. And if you have channels where you see, yeah, things aren't really working out with that channel, but every video from a certain point on had an unbelievable number of views, then suddenly there was some kind of boost. There was also a time on YouTube. It could also be that it's still like that, where channels that developed well were boosted by YouTube in this way. That means the video was suggested for a certain period of time, always on the city page or in various groups, to raise the channel slightly, and as it grew, this increase lessened. And then people really fell flat on their faces, those who thought, oh, now I'm famous here, people are watching me, and suddenly the push was gone, and boom. With each video, your views dropped from 30,000 to just 300. Those are all, I would say, fake stories that you shouldn't put too much stock in. Long-term success matters most to me, as shown by my videos that have been running for a long time. They gradually reach 10, 20, 30, 100,000, or even 1 million views. Those are the videos I want. I don't need a dud that gets 10, 20, or 100,000 views in the first week, and then you see an absolute flat line and nobody watches that video anymore. That doesn't fit my channel concept, which is where the strong imbalance comes in. Just to clarify, tell me what you think. Would you do it too? Would you take the boost? Honestly, I think the money is too valuable to spend boosting videos, since you spend a lot and get nothing in return. In this context, there's also a second viewer question that was asked by some viewers. Not that many yet, but it's very interesting. That's why I'm including it here. And it's also a bit related to the first question, namely the next viewer question. What about AI? What does that mean for YouTube? What does that mean for you YouTubers, especially for those YouTubers who make tutorials on YouTube? Honestly, that really worries me a lot. AI has gotten incredibly good in the last 5 months, especially the paid AI. So I'm not talking about the free systems here, like Chatbot or ChatGPT and Gemini, however that's pronounced, in the free version, but rather in the paid version. The people who have the paid version have a system that's so incredibly good that you basically don't need simpler tutorials anymore. That means smaller repair tasks like the ones I've done. How do I get a cable out of a connector? How do I tighten or saw off a screw? What can I use to remove this stain? You almost don't need to do that on YouTube anymore, because AI almost always has the right fitting answer ready. What AI still can't do are detailed tutorials. For example, I show how to repair a full engine or fully disassemble this laptop. Fortunately, AI still can't do that yet, to be honest. That means these tutorials will continue to work, just like the simple tutorials you know in short form, where 5 or 6 do-it-yourself tricks or something like that were shown quickly, one after another in the shorts. We can actually skip that completely. In the near future, probably no one will watch that anymore, or at least no one will be able to access it through Google search. Because usually Gemini, for example, will have already answered this question 100% correctly, and most people will have managed it as well. How will things continue with AI? I can already look a bit further into the future, since I also had some insight because I work with Google. I was just in Dublin again for the introduction of the next AI model, and honestly, this is going to get tricky. Especially video creation and of course image editing or image generation by AI is getting better and better, and I assume that at some point these will also be interconnected. That means if I then ask an AI a question, for example, AI, dear AI, I have this laptop with this model, how do I change the hard drive here? Then the AI will probably generate a short video or a small diagram or something, an animation that explains it to me in detail along with the written text. This means tutorials may soon become unnecessary, and I see a bleak future for them in the next 5 to 10 years. But that doesn't just affect us YouTubers, it will actually affect every thinking work group. That means anyone who deals with finances has to think, has to create, or has to do something creative. Any repetitive work on the computer, any kind of bookkeeping, all of that will probably be taken over by AI almost 100%. Or it will look like this. A big company has 100 employees, all of whom did some kind of computer work, something in accounting. 95 to 99 employees will be laid off, leaving 5. The AI handles tasks, passing unknowns to the 5 remaining people. They correct and return answers, which the AI then learns. Important, an AI makes a mistake only once or twice at most, and then not anymore. And when all the mistakes have come up, 4 more people out of the 5 will be laid off. Then only 1 person remains to monitor the system. And that's it. That's what the future will look like. And I'm not being pessimistic here. I really believe that's how it will be. But you can also feel free to share your opinion about this in the comments. We can't stop this now, no matter what we do. Still, you have to admit using AI has benefits unless it takes your job. Isn't it nice? So it's time for a gift again. I also received one last week, namely this little package here. It arrived perfectly with DHL, which means hopefully it also arrived intact. I opened it here because I didn't know what was inside at first, so please forgive me, but the bag is still sealed, as you can see from the tape, and some viewers may recognize its shape. I actually gave away something similar here before, and it's from the company Sendor. I've also made several videos with this company about battery storage systems. You can find the videos on my channel, and here is a small thank you gift for Christmas. I'll just open it up with you. There's a tab back here, and let's take a look inside. So what do we see here? First, we have a card here. Let's take a look at it and see what it says. I can hold the card up to the camera. I hope you can see it. It's in English, so I'll give you a rough translation. My English isn't great, but I'll try. So the first sentence, they wish us happy holidays, laughter, and a bright future. May the new year bring powerful and innovative energy solutions for every adventure. Cheers to a, yes, bright future. The center team, like I said, my English isn't particularly good, but I hope I was able to convey it reasonably well. A sincere thank you to Sentua. And then let's take a look inside the box. We have a very nice little case here. Let's carefully take it out. I'll hold it up to the camera for you, or with this close up, can you see it better? What is this? Let me check. Oh, that looks very classy. Here we have these items. That seems to be wax. A candle. A small ladle. And a kind of seal stamp. I assume this is a wax seal set. This way you can seal letters or something similar and press a wax stamp on here. You likely take this candle, a bit of wax, and heat it here. In this spoon, you can then carefully pour it onto the letter you might have closed and then press this wax stamp in here. This is very common in Asian culture and makes a nice gift, and the box is also very high quality, so I really like it. I will keep it safe, and it will get a nice place here with me where I can display it nicely. It's almost too nice to use, but at this point, I also want to say a heartfelt thank you for this beautiful wax seal set. I hope it is a wax seal set, but I think I'm right about that. Then we have a second gift here, a nicely wrapped object. Let's just take it out here. What do we see here? That looks like a drink set. Coffee. Yes, those are filter bags. Those are coffee filter bags. And here, a coffee set in the shape of a mug. And here, something like this. judge system where you then put this on here, probably put the filter bags in here, and then you can filter your coffee right here, directly on the construction site. Sander probably knows me pretty well here because I'm a real coffee junkie and drink a lot of coffee, sometimes way too much coffee. But that's also very nice. It's also very high quality, very classy. And for this as well, a heartfelt thank you for this beautiful Yes tool, if I may call it that. Now let's move on to another viewer question. Some of you may have noticed I had some issues with copyright, specifically here on my YouTube channel, M1Molter. I've been making videos on this channel since 2010. For those who have known me since 2007, 2010, or even 2012, I had already addressed this issue with music on YouTube back then. It was even worse than now, and I was searching for solutions then. What background music can you use in videos? Some people like it, others don't, but sometimes adding a few notes makes sense. And I'm just not a composer or a pianist or anything like that, so I can't make my own music here, which means I have to rely on music that I can use. Over the many years I've been on YouTube, I've tried a lot of things, from licenses I've bought to providers who promised me I could use the licenses for life. If I pay them a certain fee, let's say 200, 400 or 1,000 euros, and it all led to one result. In the long run, it didn't work. There was still a lifeline you could grab. That was the YouTube audio library, and that's actually the only music I still use at all, the music provided by YouTube. And now comes the big shock, which happened this year. Some of my videos here also received a copyright notice because I'm supposedly using music here that I'm not allowed to use since I don't have a license. It was definitely music from the YouTube audio library, so I filed an objection. After several exchanges, I escalated it directly to YouTube. As a YouTube contributor, I make help videos on another channel and work with YouTube, so I have a closer connection to the platform. And here we reviewed the whole story again and how it looks. It's there or it is there. In any case, an artist or a creator who makes music probably joined some label and brought their music along with them, and probably forgot to mention there that he also released it on YouTube. And usually you have a contract with YouTube that once you've released something there, it has to be available there for life. But that wasn't properly coordinated with this label. And then a huge number of YouTube videos that use these music tracks were flagged, reported, or given a copyright notice. And I was involved in that too. There was a bit of back and forth, but in the end, it got resolved. Now all those videos are freely available again, can be monetized, and I can use them again as well. That means that's off the table, but it still gave me quite a shock. So I'm still very much in doubt. Should you use music on YouTube or just avoid it? The entire copyright system is behind it, and it's not YouTube's fault. There may be angry comments again, but that's just how YouTube is. It's a platform that's been around a long time. There have been a lot of interventions from outside here, from GEMA, from various government regulations, from corporations and so on, all of whom want their rights to be represented. Then the copyright system was introduced, this automatic checking system for every video. Music tracks are detected here when used, which sometimes causes false reports. So always be careful when you use YouTube music or use music on YouTube, that's the correct way to put it, and be especially careful if they are external service providers. Back in 2015, I actually had some really expensive service providers where I paid a lot of money. Those websites no longer exist, the licenses are now worthless, and I could just delete everything we did back then. That's why music is a tricky topic on YouTube, but you can also share your experiences with me in the comments below. But overall, this mostly affects YouTubers who also monetize. If you're making long-term videos, you should pay a bit of attention to this, or maybe even leave out the music entirely. Now let's move on to the next point. And that's another package I received, this time from the company Treeback, which I already introduced earlier this year. Here's the company logo. I also made a video about it. This is a watering system for trees in the form of a bag, which means you hang a bag on the tree and fill it with water. It slowly drips water into the soil around the tree. And this way you can help your trees get through very dry periods without having to water them heavily. That's always the issue. I have some trees, even fruit ones. So what do? You end up going there with buckets, watering them, or turning on a sprinkler, wasting an incredible amount of water. How should I put it? Especially wasting a lot of water during a dry period. Keeping a tree alive isn't bad, but you should do it properly. That means you have to come up with a way to water it without wasting a lot of water. There are several ways to do this. For instance, you can dig a moat around the tree and fill it with water. I've tried that, but it doesn't look very nice. And you basically dig up or ruin the lawn as well. So a bag is actually a good solution. Now let's take a look at what I have here. Also, this package arrived via GLS, an intermediate provider. You can see it could look better when it arrives here, but by now I'm used to it. What do we have in here? We have an irrigation set here, which means you get 2 gloves and 2 of these irrigation bags. So what do I do with these nice bags? I have some already and don't need more. That means this nice set that I've just opened here, you can get from me right here in this video. How do you do that? It's easy. Check the video description below for a few quick conditions I've listed. Just read them. If you agree with them, please leave me a comment. At the very beginning of your comment, write, "I agree to the terms and conditions of participation." So I have to do it this way or you can't participate. Also, I have a question for you since it shouldn't be too easy. Here we have the company Treeback here. I will also link this company for you below in the video description. You can click on it and check out Treeback. I want to know, how long is the company's warranty on this Treeback? Please give the number. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered into the drawing. I will announce the winner and this set at the next Mark's Flea Market. That's very important. That means I won't make a separate video for the solution here on M1Molter, because these videos always get terribly few views and overall aren't well received. Will I announce who won it at the new Mark's Flea Market next year? And importantly, the solution will basically be revealed, yes, as they say, on Monday of the second week in January. I'll also add a submission deadline for you. If you want to take part, write it in the comments below. I'll pick a winner from here. Let's check my note again. What else is there? What's next? 2026 will be a real challenge for us YouTubers. Due to AI, other companies and new developments on YouTube and worldwide, my videos are now being translated into different languages. At first, it was a total flop and didn't work well at all. I hope that YouTube will gradually get a handle on it. It has improved a bit, and then maybe we can also expand a little into other languages. It's important to mention that I might also make some changes myself. You've already seen it. I've introduced channel memberships, and as of now, they're available. You can basically become channel members. I'll take better care of my community. I'll be cutting back on collaborations more. I have to be honest about that, because 2025 was one of the toughest years I've ever had in terms of collaborations. Collaboration conditions have become tough and terms keep getting worse. If you want to test something, if you request a product or get sent a product, more and more companies are starting to try to put a kind of gag order on you. I can't accept that anymore, and I won't take on those kinds of collaborations, just to make that perfectly clear. Because if I can't even give my final opinion or my conclusion about the product, then I really don't need it anymore. And I definitely don't want to present it here on the channel anymore. It's quite possible that, especially with new products, some minor errors might occur. But then you have to be fair and be allowed to communicate those as well. And if I'm not allowed to do that, it's no use to me. I also don't like it when I've finished recording a video. There are videos that I spend 1 or 2 days filming, and then I spend at least as much time editing them. You want to upload them. By now, every brand, every company wants to see the video beforehand. I don't really mind, because I've really messed up in some videos before, given completely wrong information, misspoke or something like that. It's not a bad thing if an expert takes another look before I publish it and spread some nonsense out into the world. However, I don't like it when thousands of change requests come in, like, yeah, you should have held the box a little more to the left. Our logo should have been held straight, and at that point we should have filmed it a bit longer and a bit lower and a bit like this and this and that, and you shouldn't have said that, and your logo was visible in the background. That wasn't nice. And yeah, we don't need to talk about it. I won't do that anymore. And I also don't like that many of these companies are now consistently putting that into their contracts. That even though you're making the YouTube video here on YouTube for me, for my channel, they want to own the entire video. They want full video rights to market it themselves and to upload it directly to their own platforms. Every time I have a double upload on YouTube, and honestly, I don't like it. Those are things I'm going to restrict a lot now, and I'll start focusing more on my own stuff again. Of course, that has a strong financial impact on me because that means a third of my income will suddenly disappear. Let's see how we can compensate for that. That's one of the reasons why I introduced channel memberships. That means if you want me to keep creating great content for you, I occasionally mention it under the videos, such as when I get a comment. Yes, Mark, thanks to you, I fixed the printer and saved over 100 euros. I'm also happy I could help you. But maybe you could also support us a little with a small donation or a digital coffee. That wouldn't be bad either, especially when you see repairs where, for example, I programmed the garage door openers. Or I also helped some users directly who asked, hey Mark, I have the remote control for this or that garage door opener and I can't get it programmed. I actually sat down and made a video for the user and the user just wrote thanks underneath. Yeah, it's tough. I spent nearly 2 days on the video but got nothing back. It would be nice to get some feedback. We'll try donations, channel memberships, and super thanks this year to see if it works. If it works well, maybe we can almost completely do without sponsorships. That means I'll just look for 1 or 2 good partners like Vicon and so on. Those are really solid companies, and you can always get a product from them to integrate into your own videos. That means, for example, if you're tightening a screw or need a rust remover, you can show it in the video, that's fine, but you don't have those full videos just for presenting the product anymore. Those really annoy me now. But the main problem is money. Costs keep rising and rising, and I have a problem compared to regular workers. I see, for example, in my environment and among my acquaintances that wages keep going up. But for me, well, everything has been at the same level since 2018. That's why we have to come up with something different here so that this channel keeps working well. That way we would have taken care of this point too. Next, I'll try some new formats, but only on a trial basis. For example, we can try out things like live streams or podcasts or all sorts of things. If you have any wishes or ideas, just write them in the comments below. It's especially important for me now that I'm starting this channel membership. What else could I offer you so that you get some added value from it? But it's important that this added value should only come into play when the higher channel memberships are actually targeted. So for €2, I can't provide a 3-hour live consultation. And also very important, even if someone gives me $24.99, I can gladly give them a tip on a project or take a look at it. We can talk about it in a live stream, but I can't take over a complete house planning for someone, so everything has to stay a bit realistic. We still need to keep things in perspective, but there will definitely be exciting opportunities to shape this in some way. If you have any more ideas, write them down in the comments below, and then we're basically just coming to the closing words. I don't have anything else left here. At this point, I would like to sincerely thank all the viewers who have commented diligently, given lots of likes, and provided a lot of constructive criticism, who stay in regular contact with me, write to me from time to time, and maybe even help pull me out of a rough patch. I've had a few of those this year too, and some viewers have given me kind words during those times. Thank you sincerely for that and for the successful collaborations with the companies here. I also deeply appreciate this year. And overall, it was a very good collaboration this year, except for 1 or 2 cases, but those are different stories. Well, there's not much left for me to say. Christmas should be over by now. When you watch this video, I'm recording it before Christmas, but you'll see it after Christmas. But let me put it this way. I hope you had a few nice, peaceful holidays and that you have a great start into the year 2026. And may the wishes you have come true. So I hope to see you again next year. And with that, we say goodbye until next time. Yours, Mark on YouTube.